Yesterday, they didn't even pick Nuke. It was actually Na'Vi's map pick in the best of three. It was Astralis picking into Ancient, losing the first map, and coming through successfully here in the second. Let's see if they're able to do that when it comes to their map pick. Starting up onto that T side, all-important pistol round could be the leverage to get Astralis going early on. For complexity standpoint, you've got the kit and the smoke to work with from Grim. Kevlar across the board.
Let's get into it. Pistol round for map number 2. Complexity on the CT start of things. USPs and the P2K pulled out here with the utility set for Grim and the utility set for Zip, and over on Farlig's part as well on the Astralis side. There will be a decent amount of work with the execution. They'll pop open the squeaky door. It's floppy from the bed down upon them from the rafters. He gets killed off by Config, who doubles up the Junior all the same. JT fell in the interim, so a 4 versus 2. Grim quick to respond up towards the heaven position. Good flick on the Zip. Trying to connect to Config the same, but unable to do so. Config ends up with a quadra. Another quadra in the pistol to get the pistol for Astralis.
Pistol God, perhaps, when it comes down to the rounds itself. Very well achieved there from Config. And for Complexity, they have a slightly unorthodox setup. They've got a double Mustang position, players trying to play anti-flash, and Astralis with the entries were just rolling over the bomb side. Config with another brilliant round.
And they're first up on that Astralis board. A good start for them once again. Exactly how things played out at the start of Dust 2, the same. Complexity, of course, found their rhythm when the guns came out, so maybe that could end up being the case right here again. They are on the force play, though, so it might not come in as early as it was from the previous map. Astralis working in towards that ramp control. The SMG's brought out, no one to defend against, and they have easy access to that B site.
And what we have noticed from both of these teams over the course of Dust 2 is that the ecos and the force bias have been damaging full, but we haven't really seen a lot of steals. So you wonder what Complexity have got up their sleeve. They've got a couple of rotations down to that lower bomb side. Astralis have taken ramp, but they're not committing to lower. Instead, they're actually regrouping back to lobby.
Drawn a lot of attention away from the A site itself. Only Fang stands back behind the silos. A good headshot would be nice to get away with a 1-for-1 trade. Set up a 4 versus 4 retake. Probably the best thing you can realistically ask from the man, though. Teammates are on the way back here. They might even go for the vent dive. Zip there. It's caught off. Dead to rights on Fang. There it is. That 1-for-1 trade. Now it's up to the rest of the CT players. Bomb can go down to the site. 4v4.
A difficult retake, though, when you're not really working with any of the util without a kit factor. Grim's going to have to step up incredibly quickly with this kill.
Oh, just out of his periphery. Glaive's going to catch the frag, so advantage once again for Astralis. And from here, Complexity might want to save the Kevlar and the Scout. Seems like the better option for them. Give a little bit of bonus going into the harsh eco that will be inbound for them. 2-0 for Astralis.
Especially in that sort of situation where you know it's a 4v4, you need a playmaker. You need someone that's really going to roll back in to give yourself a chance into the round. And as soon as that duel gets lost out towards the trophy room, that's it. You back off and save. You hold on to what you've got. Astralis get the 2-0 start. And for Complexity, they can take this next round as a slight bonus. Use these upgrades to see if the further damage can come through. Not upgrade massively around it going into the next round, but just trying to see if they can muster up maybe a couple of kills, a dropped rifle, anything would be a bonus.
Nothing major coming in for Complexity now. Upgrades passed around here and there. Fang getting an extra pistol, an extra deagle to work with. 5-7 even for Grim at the same time. So slight investment on their own part, but only down to the 1900 marker at minimum. So the loss bonus should build to a decent rifle round for the next for Complexity. Let's see what kind of damage they can do here. Deagle out for Fang. Brought down immediately by Blame. Zipbeck, similar scenario towards Floppy's position. JT does get one good trade. And Grim, a similar story out on the site itself. Config dropping and an AK now in his hands. He gets towards the outside and back into safety here.
I think you've got to go for this in this sort of scenario. Just that you've been able to get it into a 2v3, you've got the confidence to, okay, something can be made. What they don't know about is this lurk that's come through deep in ramp. It's actually down in the hell position now for Glaive.
I think the big question is how much do you value the AK here for Grim, and apparently valuable enough to get the frag onto Glaive himself, drop onto the side. Molotov and the smokes down, then dive in from blameF, and he barely escapes with his life. They heard that dive down as well. Zipex is going to follow suit. So now information on both Astralis players has been gained. Complexity will wrap around. You can already see Junior back towards the ramp position. The MAC-10 in his hands, tapped up by Zipex. And Grim slowly but surely walking his way around towards Secret. Zipex going to have to check this position the same.
It all comes down to how quickly that bomb gets planted, and blameF so aggressive, they've got to try and start putting some pressure down onto that ramp position. Make it uncomfortable for Junior to find anything with this MAC-10. 40-odd seconds left on the clock. Junior's waiting for a reface, waiting for blameF to start pushing.
Both doorways left open, double and decon. Junior, of course, with no doorways to his name, so if they're going to swing, they're going to have to get the frag immediately. Mac 10 at long range sees it. Bex, burst fire, spray through. Blame so close, gets that frag. Grim quickly making him noisy, making his way up to site. Zipx doesn't hear him, actually. Kill found a 4 versus 4. Smoke can go down. He's going to try and see if he can fight onto Blame here. Look to the right-hand side. A flashbang forward, a tap forward to the AK himself. And Grim taps it once, trying to force Blame to take a peek, but doesn't end up doing so. He's trying desperately to win this 1v1. There's no kit on Grim either. 10-second stick might have to be required, and Blame is continuously looking, continuously spraying. No stray bullets to land. The smoke is still up, but not for long. Kill found. Round also going the way of Astralis.
You could just picture the clutch bring one again, can't you? You get into that sort of scenario and you think, are we going to get another dream round? Unfortunately, there you had to kind of stick it the first time, because if you start sticking it the second, the smoke's going to start clearing, and that's where the massive advantage can come through from blameF. Not over-peaking, not having a kit in that situation. Complexity as a whole, though, did not invest massively in that round, and they dropped 4 players.
A lot of damage can be done to set up the reset from here on out. Of course, guns in. Rifles brought down by Complexity is part of the reason why he said they should go for it here. Have the rifles to play with, not the utility basis though, and not the kit basis. Only one in play for Grim. Floppy already spotting individuals, but getting tagged to 40 HP.
Now, Astralis are gaining a lot of easy ramp control, and this is something that Complexity are going to have to start tightening. They can't be giving this sort of respect over, and now even for JT, he gets caught on the outside position. You force yourself into a stance of, how do we fight back ramp? We can't really. Junior's hoping for an overface.
Bang looking towards outside, of course, across the dead body of his teammate. Doesn't get anything more from Astralis. They're working indoors. They're working towards ramp room, and Junior just can't spot anything at all. Will start to lean forward. Are they expecting it? They have their eyes trained on that entrance. WP, frag taken towards Blade. M4 for Grim's going to swing, but Zipx does get away with a casualty, but Junior there with the trade. Floppy also comes up from the B site as well, up towards ramp. Blame and Farley will fall to his hands, and Config's in a 1 versus 3.
Yeah, what an excellent crossfire. The way that they start shifting slowly with those Hell players to just start putting pressure on Grim, working in with that AWP of Junior. And then you get to a position where Floppy can come up from underneath. He's the player down at the lower bomb site to slowly start walking up to ramp. And Astralis, they're just being pulled with their attention over to that Hell entrance, not focusing down onto Floppy. And for Config, you don't have the bomb control. The time is low. There's no workability in this round at all.
And Junior's so ready for the triple right here. Oh, he gets just barely escapes with the bomb on his back. And now the TTs have adjusted towards it. Player over at Old Toxic. Config won't check his position. Got to prioritize that bomb plant. And Floppy says, no thank you, sir. No chance in hell on that one. There it is. The first round for Complexity once again when the guns come out.
And this is sort of some of the key players that, again, we need to be keeping an eye out for. Complexity on Nuke, Floppy, Grim, those sort of duos. And then over from the Astralis side, the guys that we've been speaking a hell of a lot about is blameF and Config. What they've been able to do, not only in the first map, but what they've been able to do this entire event so far. First round going the way of Complexity. Can they start getting some momentum off the back of this?
The nades in from Junior initially towards outside. I think they can drive the T-side players back. And that eco you mentioned earlier, the damage that was output to Astralis, you can see what that's going to affect them here for. No real buy-up. Upgrade pistols short. No major rifles and no Kevlar across 4 of the players. Config brought off by JT towards outside to start things off. blameF should be seen on top of Silo as well. AWP watching as the smokes come down. Astralis block vision.
Yeah, Astralis making a fair amount of noise towards this outside portion of the map. JT can try and spam through the credit card position, get some assistance with some of that util. Grim even peeking out for mains doing damage.
Damage is return on towards him though. Glaive at 26, Grim at 28. Also the footsteps hurt by Grim, who will just rotate right back down the vent position, get double up against Farlig and Glaive. And 1 rifle picked up for Zipx. Complexity have all their bases covered for now. Astralis have got to work into that B site. It'll be impossible to get up these vents here.
And they're just trying to see if they can toy with Complexity. You've got 45 odd seconds on the clock. You've got plenty of time to work with. You know that this is only just a light eco. Can you force someone to get hungry? Can you put yourself in a position where Complexity start over-fighting? And even for JT, it's so passive on the outside position. Doesn't need to peek again. Wait for his teammate to come through. Tactically, very on point there for Complexity. Even up against the anti-eco, not getting too hungry.
Connects together a solid second. One of the difference, Astralis Back up on the guns here. Of course, part of the reason for that eco is to get rifles back out for this one. Still very limited on the buy, though. 2 Galils in play this time.
Yeah, this is going to be difficult, and maybe some more pacing for Astralis. We haven't seen a lot of those top site plays or some further aggression. Ramp has definitely felt like the portion of the map that's been taken the most successfully. Even JT trying to get outside a secret.
Grim leans in, Blame backing off. Smoke's thrown towards outside, meanwhile as Astralis. Other hand, another red box cross. Maybe ahead of those smokes on the outer yard, not seeing JT or anybody else. They're in harder cover than that. It's in the areas will try to stop them ahead of those smokes. It could still be a split in towards this A side though. Plays forward, burst through from ZipX, Grim right around that corner, catches him with U2 in hand, all important frag. And got to look towards that mini position, and he does get clay for it.
Oh, very nicely done. And now even JT starting to spool around, try and get some information towards outside. Grim gets caught, and JT falls on the lurk.
3 versus 3 situation for it. Config leaning in, the AK watching, and Blame and Config get their trade. Suddenly Floppy is left alone. A 1 versus 3, and they're going straight in towards the B site, it feels like. One hunt towards the outside for Blame could be a bit of a concern. Farlig has a Galil in hand. A direct engagement should go the way of Floppy here. The Molotov burn till start to give chase, but so's Blame.
Yeah, this walk is looking ever so deadly from blameF. It's all a matter of timing, and when they cross each other's paths, Pink comes through, and Floppy deals with him.
Tag to 48 though, Farlig set up with a chance of 1 versus 1. Floppy in with a clutch potential, and there's Farlig with the headshot. Comes up good just to clutch the situation for Astralis here.
And we've got to keep in mind, this has been 2 situations now. The complexity have forced it down into 1vx's, have not come through. It's not the same magical storyline that we can bring from of Dust 2 of converting those clutch situations. As a whole, though, Grim's got to be so annoyed. You were able to get a multi-frag around from that main position. What else is happening? JT gets caught on the outside position. That round was a 5-on-3 advantage. That should be unlosable for complexity.
Lost all manners of control in that context, and even though it came down to a clutch, it's the same thing we were talking about with the clutches in the pre-matchup. Come back to that in a second, because execution out for Astralis towards the top site. They dropped the bomb in the lobby crunch though. Floppy traded back by Farlig Jr. Zorp is still watching the position. Heard on the Molotov damage, he gets away with a kill towards Farlig. They drive him out of the lobby control, so the bomb does not sit with the CTs entirely. 2v2.
Yeah, there's still so much time, and this is where Astralis can come into the mix. Just slow it down, force out some mistakes. JT repositioning towards outside, Junior getting up towards that heaven position, and Config's got complete control of the upper bomb site.
Yeah, Config's position is very powerful as well, because they can't see him in heaven, and he engages against them as a result, popping up. Junior looking the wrong way, and JT also the known entity. Blame can go direct ahead and wrap around to grab that bomb. Config continues to hold the angle against the CT player. Look for that headshot. Burst fire. Tag him to 18 HP. And JT wants to get out of there. Is this a save call or is this a reposition?
Oh, you can't really save. You're not going to buy next round. Even on low HP, you've got to have the confidence to win the 1v2.
Molotov set. Blame. Not even needing to plant. Config gets his triple. Secures the round for Astralis. It's a very powerful position in that back corner. And the clutch just not going the way of complexity in that case, that 1v2 going against them. And it's the same thing we talked about in the pre-game. If it's down to clutches, and that's what made the biggest difference, then for Cole, that's a crutch you can take away so easy.
Yeah, and even for Astralis' standpoint, the fact that in the last 3 months, they've managed 3 wins, 2 losses, 3 on the trot, they've only got a 40% round win percentage. So with that in mind, already 5-2 up and leading by example in this first half, this could be a monster T-side by the Danes.
USPs, the Eagles, and a 5-7 pulled out by complexity here. What they can do in terms of damage, again, it's all just about the damage, keeping the economy state limited for Astralis, because if they can do that, then in the long term, they have a reset. Right now, though, A site's taken. No one's there to resist it. Bomb should go down. It's all about the exit frags.
Yeah, of course. Just even 1 frag would be excellent. Try and see if you can find something, recover a rifle. Config and blameF with this crossfire outside is going to be difficult to deal with, and at least they're going to tackle it head on.
Floppy arm with a USP, though, can't do much. Similar story should be in play for Junior. JT watching in over at the vents just in case they want to dive down there. Fang also caught towards outside, trying to provide some support here. USP just leaning in. Expecting there to be an extension out. I think Blame might be suspicious of the fact that they could be in garage. does get tagged on the way on the cross towards credit card. Farlig, not so much damaged up. And JT, not so much damage being done. All 5 players stay alive for Astralis. 6-2 now to the T-side board.
It just hasn't felt as if Astralis have been tested very much in this first map. They've been doing the defaults right, trading off each other really well. Kill distribution across the board has been fantastic. Yeah, we've obviously had some pop-off moments from Config in particular, but as a whole, it just seems to be very composed, taking each round at a time. And for Complexity, especially on Nuke, if you're not acting quick enough on this CT side to starting to bring that comeback back in and put the threat down, you might just feel as if the map's being thrown away from you.
On the best of CT sides for Complexity. Any control being maintained by Astralis here. The war is not over just yet, but Victor's still not quite decided per se, but you can see the writing on the wall at the moment. More than a difference. It's very early doors. There's still a chance for Complexity to change the narrative and change their fortunes, change their destiny here. Orbs in on Junior's parts. There's a slightly better buy on the CT side. The Khalil's still out for glaive. Blind fire ahead of the smokes. Default set. Astralis smokes towards outside.
Even Junior's just got to back off. Nothing he can really do here. Try and set up some counter utility. They have got JT coming out from Secret. He hasn't quite been able to find the level of success on this area in the past, though.
Got to get the head on glaive. There it is. Great kill. Fall back.
And even Fang is just working with a bait and switch, trying to draw blameF out into the open to hunt down onto Grim. Very well achieved. And now it's a 5-on-3 advantage.
Floppy's head seen by Zipex, but Floppy sees Zipex the same. So just get out of dodge. Hold down the B site as Config gets paranoid about this player still being in Secret. JT has backed off though. Junior tries to position himself back towards Hell. 31 HP burning to the Molotov. 5v3 situation still maintained by the CT side. Zipex taking a bit of damage towards Floppy's position. He falls even deeper into the B site now that they've gained the ramp control.
50 seconds left. They're trying to see if they can force an over-rotate, see if they can maybe vent drop in that bomb, get it down to the lower bomb site, and start regrouping up with both Zip and from blameF that's down here. Oh, this is difficult to get Config into the mix, though. They need a distraction.
Smoke set in. And Fang fought on by Farlig. A frag found, but Floppy finishes off Config the same. As JT gets Farlig next, Zipex has got no choice but to save the weapon. A 1 versus 4. His teammates fall all around him. It will be a third for Cole.
Now, this is the response that they're looking for. Make it uncomfortable, really start strengthening their own economy line. And for Zip, just hold on to the rifle, bring it into the next round. Try and see if Complexity can start swinging rounds together in a row. Especially with the fact that a lot of AKs are being recovered. That's going to be the main positive going into round 10.
Something back for Complexity is the main sort of bottom line here. Around basis to work from once again for the CT side. A gap of 3 to still to make up for them, but got a gun by against them. The AWPs and AKs will come out for this one, but if they can get the victory, it's reset to eco for Astralis again. That's what that damage was all about for Complexity in the previous few ecos that they took. On for the reset. Nades up initially, doing minimal damage to glaive on the outside. Flashes over again. Fast utility coming in for the Astralis play.
Now this is going to be pacey. Try and see if they can catch JT sleeping, and the matter of timing for this top main player could just be everything.
Massive gap in that smoke. Hoping they don't play towards Secret here. JT's covering off from Mini. Both players can see the cross towards Secret itself, so they can cover off with the automatic and AWP. Smokes come up as the initial smokes start to fade for Astralis, and they still hold outside contention.
It's all a matter of trying to force that AWP back. Even smoke off JT, he's going to press through the smoke.
This could be a bit of a curveball. Molotov's down towards credit card. Farling's turned away from the flashbang, and Config comes up from top of Mini instead. JT picked up Junior back behind the smokes of the locker rooms, and there will be a player aggressing against that man. Fang tries to find a frag, but it's Farling that again gets the kill. Junior trading it back to a 3 versus 3 and falling back to the ramp position.
Grim's going to have to really step up, because it does look as if, and indicating a top-side split, you've still got 40 seconds left for Astralis, so blameF can wait to see if any over-aggression comes through from Hut or Squeak Door and shift that bomb down into Secret.
30 seconds, Grim thinking leaning forward. Oh, this is dangerous, and blame's going to catch him off guard. One less player, two less players to deal with on the top side, and they might commit towards bottom instead. Junior's back over towards... Okay, no, they do think about going towards upper now that they've secured it. Now that blame's cleared all angles, the disaster is averted, and Junior is now in his own safe scenario.
Yeah, doesn't even want to try and go for the wallbang. I was thinking there might be a chance, but even that kind of give the information away. And when you're down into a situation like this, you really don't want to give them any advantage. If you can hold on to this big green, bring it into the next round, that could be all and everything to work with.
Would have been incredible if he could hit it. Opting not to do so in this case. A 7th for Astralis, one away from taking the T-side half. For Complexity, where is that surprise potential? Where is that anti-strap material? Where is that surprise factor? Where is the dream for the North American team? Definitely not in this round, I wouldn't say. Half buy?
Yeah, it makes the most amount of sense. I mean, Junior can drop an M4. They can heavily invest. The issue is you're not working with a massive amount. And when you look at that scoreline at being 3-7, the risk versus reward starts weighing up in your mind. And the safer option here is to half invest. Maybe have one hero rifle to work with outside of that AWP to maximize your chances of doing damage. As a whole, though, Complexity are really struggling in the late round. I think that is probably where we can pin the most and the majority of the mistakes that have been coming through is that last 20, 30 seconds on the clock. That's where they've been able to really come back for Astralis.
A slight technical pause here. Try and get info to what it is that's going on out there. Well, doesn't even matter, actually. We just go quite quickly back into the server, so not much to worry about there. Fortunate enough as it stands. And actually, Complexity are going in for the force buy in this next round. I don't know if I like this.
Yeah, they just know that they're down by quite a significant margin with the scoreline, and they want to try and keep the pressure on. Fast play from Astralis to the top of take.
Oh, pressure just by the pacing alone. Fang turning away from the players that battle line up for him. Dipex with the kill. Grim with a double up. Looks for that triple, but can't quite finish the job. JT forced to bail him out. A 3 versus 2. And Complexity have somehow come out on top of this rush tactic here. The bomb dropped on site. Got to commit towards A. Floppy also creeping into the back lines. Farlig making a ton of noise, but Floppy will not close in the backstab.
Try and get that bomb down and focus the attention on the Rat players. In from heaven, back into that lobby control. The timing's going to be everything in when JT starts to act with Floppy.
Oh, can't lock onto the quick scope flick. And now Glaive is all that remains. 1 versus 3. Backed up in Hut, looking out towards the rafters, looking up towards heaven. JT fights on towards the man and wins out his double. Tanking a lot of damage, but ultimately getting the round.
I think we've seen moments on both Dust 2 and now on Nuke where Complexity have been able to pull rounds out of something that you don't really have a lot of belief in. It was maybe one of those 3v3 retakes when it's down to 13-13 that they decide to go for it. That sort of situation, you've got a hero orb, you don't have to buy, but okay, let's try and maximize it. They forced the issue, and with that initial defense, Grim stepped them up again. A couple of kills in the back of that default silos really made the difference to holding the man advantage in that one.
It's an important one for Complexity. 4 rounds to them, still have a chance to usurp Astralis at the very last hurdle. That bomb plant bonus enables a force buy back from the Danes instead. 2 MAC-10 to Galil to back up the 2 AKs on Blame and Farlig once again. Up towards the roof of lobby. A very fast inner take once again. Config. MAC-10 up against Grim, who does get traded back by Fang. It's Glaive there with the 1 kill on the round for the T-side line as Fang doubles up against Dipex as well. Blame and Farlig, the 2 AKs, all that remain. They'll get at least 1 casualty, but that's as far as it will go. And Farlig, last to fall to Floppy's hands, his own double in this round. 3 alive for the 5th for Complexity.
Beautiful work from the anchor players. Always very difficult defending against the top site rush. And in that one, Grim gets a 1-for-1. We see Fang staying alive from the Mustang angle. And because he's wasting so much time, he's able to get a couple of kills. It buys those rotates to allow the likes of Floppy to come up from the heaven position, to have that assistance, to have that crossfire being locked. 5 on the board for Complexity. Now the hard reset being found. This could be them really minimalizing the scoreline advantage now.
Utility thrown down, Molotovs in, Fang gets the kill on Blame to start things off. Floppy ready for more out towards the ramp position. It's the AWP Junior that actually gets the next kill back. Floppy does get his piece of the pie. And the one player, oh, Junior, a little bit shocked at that one. Does get picked up by Config in the end. He wasn't expecting that at all. You can see that from his cam. A little bit of frustration on his own part. The complexity will seal the round anyway.
At least they don't lose too much in that anti-eco. First tactical now being used by the Astralis side because they're probably starting to realize, okay, we're sweating ever so slightly. We had it down on lock. We had a 5-2 scoreline. Things were looking on the up, very comfortable. And now for complexity, there's a slight resurgence.
Tactical now forced out from Astralis. Their own moment to readjust, their own moment to think about things. Still on the verge of taking this half, still on the verge of that all-important 8th. Still be a fantastic T-side regardless of how this half ends, no matter who takes the lead. The difference is just between a 1-round deficit and potentially a 3-round lead for them. All that matters. AK is involved for round 14. Might not leave a lot for round 15, so ideally Astralis take this here. Limited utility sets though, will they play them outside early?
Well, it's been a while since we've actually seen Astralis getting some of that deep map control and complexity. They want to fight outside.
Yeah, AWP for Junior getting a bit of confidence on his own belt, and Astralis reading the situation well. Backing off from Silo, Glaive tentatively taking back control ahead of the red box, sees where Junior is at, and Farley gets legged. 2 HP for the man.
JT's going to be the bait. Junior's got to pull all the attention away. Needs to continue fighting with this AWP outside.
Does get picked up by Config though, so not the best of players here from the CT side. And JT might not even get given the opportunity to act with that kill. The C's are going to back things up, but Config does give up his life.
Grim on the off angle towards the top side, needs to try and slow it down, and that's exactly what he finds. Dealing with blameF, and Astralis have got to cancel with his top side play.
In a 4-on-3 situation, Farley get 2 points of health. Glaive caught off by Fang. Now it's left to a 2v4. Zipex I work into the 100 HP. Farley on 2 points of health. So if Zipex falls, that's round done at this stage. A pretty impossible clutch for Farley to take. And Floppy will get his own 2K once again. 7 apiece now as we go into round 15.
Individuals really stepping up there big time for complexity. Think about that outer take. You've got 3 CTs there, aggressive. Yeah, okay, it is a 1-for-1 trade that the AWP falls, and so does Fang, but it's Grim's hold. His hold towards the top side slows down that rush, makes Astralis not just completely roll over the top side play and allow complexity to go in for the save. With AKs being recovered too, this is very likely that complexity can make this 8-7.
Buyback's not fantastic for Astralis. They'll try to rush in once again. Grim does get a little bit overzealous. Not sure of how many players are around him. Fang and Junior drop into the site. Get blaming. Glaive and Junior lands on Farley the same. Config, the last one standing. Can't make much happen out of it. So it will be 8-7 for complexity. They will take the half, but only just on their CT side. Is it good enough to try and fend off Astralis here on map 2? We'll find out after the break.
Yeah, I think that I had like a couple of bad months in Astralis, and now I finally like regained form a little bit. I just focused on myself a lot and focused on how I want to play my own game and how I want to like do my own thing and create my own game style. And I think that it worked out pretty well for me so far. It worked pretty good in IEM Katowice, and it also been pretty good in practice with Farley. So I just hope that I can transition it into the next couple of games that we're playing here in Pro League.
Part of my story, I'm going hard for that trophy. It's why they all been on me. No guts, no glory. There's no need to go begin. I don't comprehend it, I do not give it everything, or you wanna cry about a soul. I'ma say it from the jump. Mama ain't raised a chump. My mama raised me to persevere if I'm ever here in a slum. Cause nobody starts at the top. You do your part and you better buy. Working hard each and every day, even though some days it get hard to watch. But you gotta trust the process. Grind hard, don't you ever quit. It's a must, you see the progress. Gotta ball till you get a hit.
In a row towards the end of that first half was also gained by the Astralis side, now with the return of Complexity. Getting into the pistol, buying down some of that util in for Junior and for JT. Kevlar across the board for the CTs, and already a lot of players trying to get up towards this silo position. The rest are in lobby.
Config set with the USP up top of the hut, expecting to see some presence in the squeaky door, and Complexity most certainly will give it towards him as the Molotovs will pour out and the flashbangs will come in. It's a top site execution and Config reads it like a book. Farley's trying to find his angle out towards the closed vent, but Config's overwhelmed in the open part of the site. There's Blaze to fall. Farley with 2 headshots, looking for the triple against JT, and that's exactly what he gets. Junior trying to hunt this player down. The backup has arrived. Farley finally falls, but Junior is fallen back in turn. It's Floppy alone for the 3K clutch. Gets his second and tries to look for that third player as well. Headshot desperately required. All sorts of bullets going into the body as if, but he gets the kill itself, and that wins the pistol for Astralis.
Oh my goodness, there is so much going on in that round. Complexity going with the top side play. The mollies and the flashes are perfect. Flushing CTs out to the open. The issue is, what about Farley up here towards the Mustang angle? Gets away with so much damage. Ends up with 3 kills. The clutch not quite going forward. And we can start tallying it through for Astralis. They are converting so many of these clutches here on Nuke.
Just like Complexity did over on Dust 2. Another omen, another bad sign for this North American core. Config with the XM, trying to see if he can catch up a player up in the lobby position. Already blameF has fallen to the hands of JT. It's a good start out for the Complexity side at least. They're up on the 4 spy. There's just general weapons out for Astralis here. JT continuing to work on the outside.
They're just expecting some slight over-aggression, a punishment in from the Astralis side. Zepex just on the other side of ramp, and a quick rotate from Farley could be very difficult to open up this portion of the map. A lot of time to work with, and not a crazy amount of util.
Zepex just waiting here, an off angle in the ramp room, ready to receive the Complexity side. 60 seconds remain. Where do they go with this? Up towards the B side seems to be the likely call here, with Fang now taking point with the Mac 10. Kill on Zepex, doubles up. Not quite the triple. 3 versus 3. That's what Farley's there for. Clean up duty against Floppy and Junior. JT in the 1 versus 3. Doesn't get past Config.
And this is, again, the conversation that we come into. The 4 spies for both teams in that second round just never coming through. We've never had that back and forth display. So for Complexity, they realize we got 4 kills, got a bomb plan on a pistol. Okay, let's buy it up. Let's have some confidence behind us, but it does not come through. And we're now starting to see some of the glimpses of what Farlig's potential is. We saw what he could do on the pistol. We've now seen it on the anti-eco. Very important multi-kill rounds from him.
We said in general his week so far has been pretty average for Astralis, but he's having an impact in this game, and that might be all that matters to them. M4 for blameF, immediately executing Grim, of course. Eco pistols, upgrades across the board. Junior's also been tagged as Floppy up towards Silo. Fang does find Config at least, and Junior and JT are hunting for a decent headshot. Tech 9 out towards the open site, and that's a bit of an overextension from Fang. Same thing for JT up to red box. So 4 versus 2, Astralis. We're going to take 10 and take control.
Very pacey after the initial contact comes through, and with that in mind, it makes it a very easy round for Astralis. That gets them up to double digits. And now even the response from Complexity, you're trying to get those rifles back in, trying to see if you can get at least Junior set up, but the money situation's not fantastic, so you're not going to be able to get that big green out just yet at least. 10-8. Very similar stances, I think, of how the momentum's sort of been shifting here on Nuke than it was on Dust 2. Never really getting a clear favorite at any point in both of these maps so far.
Yeah, anyone's game down to the wire. It was Machine that said it. Well, this Astralis side are very beatable. They most certainly are here. Complexity have proven that already on 1 map, and on paper they could still usurp them. They could still take back control from here. That's the question of the hour. Can they get it done? Right now, awaiting a technical pause. Quick restart for Glaive for his game. Some technical issues over on the Astralis side might end up plaguing them if things keep up. good time right now is the fact that if they have to go to a third map, they've got to rely heavily on EG winning out their series against AGO. That's not looking likely, though, however. AGO up by a map, 10-9 over on that side of things in second.
Yeah, Fiku dropped 40 kills and 13 deaths on map 1 before it even thought about going towards an OT, so an unreal performance from one of the polls. But yeah, keep you up to date with how all the other games going down. Looks like Na'Vi probably be able to get the 2-0 as well, so get the A stream pretty much wrapped up quickly.
All eyes on us, and all eyes on this match. Appropriate so, again, very important, as we've stressed over the course of the entire show today. And we'll continue to stress until the 16th round has come in on the victory map-up. Smoke set, nades up, guns out for Complexity once again. Still a bit of an awkward buy-up from Astralis, but a bonus round for the CT side.
And look at how aggressive Farling is. The top of the outside position, getting on top of Garage and just giving yourself the height advantage. Junior not expecting it at all. And then you've even got someone aggressed up towards that Africa angle. This might not get checked by JT.
Lashes forward on his own part, wrapping the corner, and blameF catches him off guard as he wasn't quite ready for the corner. This player's taking a triple for blameF once again, stacking up the numbers like he's done all day today. Floppy in a 1v5 with no chance in hell.
You say floppy or do you say sloppy? Come on, what is that in the outside position? The spacing's all over the place. Yes, the clearance did come through, but with the flash, it doesn't help. You've got to be there for the immediate trade. As soon as JT goes down, someone's going to have to be there to get the return. They can't isolate 3 1v1 fights up against blameF because you're going to get shredded to pieces, and we saw exactly that. What a round out from the Astralis side. No one falling at all. That is fuel of confidence now.
11 to the board. Complexity making all sorts of mistakes, and this is not the point where you want to do so here. Tactical timeout just got called in. Upper position again from Farley, mentioned boosted up on top of the garage, and Blame with this triple kill sequence, like you mentioned. 1 by 1 they peaked. As a unit, they did not fall. And now's the right time to take a tactical as well for these guys, because they're sitting on the knife's edge right here again. There's no guarantees that they can even make it, even if they win that third map.
Yeah, they've got to really knuckle down here, because that was a round that you don't really want to be looking at with too many positive notes, but at the same time it happened, and now you've got to respond. Now you've got to try and put your rounds up on the board, and just knowing no bomb plant, no kills, the money situation's not fantastic, so you can half buy here, going into round 20, lightly invest, get yourself really set up. And now I even look at the other side of the field of both Zipex and Glaive and think, ooh, SMGs, this is perfect for farm and cash.
Yeah, so much bonus money that can flow the way of Astralis here. Incendiaries and flashes. The smokes get blocked off by Farling. Needs to win that first fight, and that second, not quite so much so, but he's done his work here. He's got a kill. He's got a massive gap in that smoke. It's easy pickings for blameF. So much damage done to Floppy and Fang. At least they'll get out of dodge safely and evade that nade. Junior will cross in the end as well. So all 3 players will be known down here in secret, and Config is just so ready to get these frags. Fang bounced around the corner. Oh, he's seen. That's a kill. That's a double. That's a round.
A beautiful angle, just hugging the corner right there down towards the bottom of secret position. And what Complexity are trying to do is get a boost up to look to double doors, to give themselves the height advantage, maybe catch Config off guard, but the reposition's just everything. Junior back in for a fight, trying to make it more expensive. Drop more of these rifles if so possible.
Still a bonus round for Astralis, though. They should be pretty good on the money line. I mean, you can take a look at the cash rounds they've got and the fact that they can buy up these weapons, trade up to the SMGs, they can find the drop weapons as well. Junior's got a lot of work to do. A 1v4 clutch. He's found that first. 3 more to go as he creeps around towards the observation room with very little info to play with on both parties here. Astralis knowing of his last position, but they're now in secret the same, so they should be aware that he's pushed forward at the very least. How much further forward, though? Time's starting to tick away on Junior. And the next fight... now he's revealed his position. The next fight could come in from all sorts of angles here. You can see Glaive slowly pushing up against him. Smokes down, Defex wraps the corner and gets the kill.
Yeah, very difficult 1v3 in all there for Junior, because you're going to make noise whether you open up the single door, the double door, or the windows. There's no way that you can force them into a trap and get them to make a mistake there. 12 on the board for Astralis. They'll be happy that they farmed up as much as they could. Now the rifle round comes through from Complexity, and mathematically speaking, it's not impossible, right? But the way that I look at this is if you don't convert round 21 and put one on the board for the T side, I think you're done here on Nuke. You've really got to act now.
Yeah, you're looking at a 14-8, the pressure against that with Astralis being as good as they are. Like, this is a difficult affair for them. Fast play towards top site once again. Config actually event dive against him, but Fang does lean out ahead of the smokes. Might throw a bit of a red herring in against the Astralis side as they dive down towards the B site. Fang gets another good kill. Config finally gets the trade bag, but it's a 4v3 with a bomb plot and no one on the B site to try and retake.
And that's one of the playmakers that we've been searching for in this second half to get Complexity their first round. Fang up towards top site, getting a double entry while the rest of his team vent dive down towards lower, get that bomb plant in immediately. What a response. That's exactly what we're looking for. Very well achieved by Fang. And that's another one of those really important rounds that we've been looking for.
For the standout man of the last map, you want to look from him for the rest of the matchup here. Complexity needed this round. They'll get to their 9th and they'll bring themselves back within 3 of Astralis' situation. It's the question of converting the second one, though, to get the next round on the board, to try and follow it up, though. That's the big thing for Complexity here. Because Astralis have plenty of money. They're going to buy right back into this next round and play with sheer confidence. Speaking of confidence, Na'Vi 16-5 over on the mainstream. They've taken their 2-0, so they're through in first place. It's all on this next match. Every single eyeball in Counter-Strike watching this one. Because, again, it's so important.
Yeah, and just knowing, too, for Astralis, with so much money being farmed up, Complexity can't think, okay, we need to reset the economy line. What they've got to be focusing in is one round at a time, and then the reset will come eventually. It's not something that's going to happen over just a round or two. And even blameF is so aggressive in the back of T-Red again. Doesn't spot anything, so just backs off. Plays it passive.
Wave will try joining with a bit of assistance. Nades at the ready. Might go up towards the silo. And damage done towards Grim and Floppy in a tiny amount of impact. I think a nade out towards that putt position is what got thrown his way. Let's see a shoulder bait in from Blame, but no real casualty or damage being done to him or anyone else from Astralis. It's just minimal chunks away on Complexity's part.
A lot of respect being given towards the outside angle. No one in from Garage. The only real back passive player is the AWP that's working around the heaven, and glaive that can spot the quick wraparound from the Garage area.
Marley's looking on, but doesn't see JT just yet. Smokes up towards Mini. That'll siphon off one angle that the CTs can play with. The AWP in at locker rooms. Not seen by JT. No one's playing Overwatch at Heaven either, so he could try a wrap play. He's checking all corners. Config gets caught through the smoke by Floppy, so that's a start out for Complexity this time. JT continues working in. He heard those scopes as well.
Yeah, this fight could win the round, honestly, and even that might not make a difference. Fang getting another kill towards topside. That's just distraction being pulled now.
Zipex caught off by JT, so another CT falls. Fang pressure from all sides of the site. Grim gets his kill in the round, and blameF in a 1 versus 5. Has no way of clutching this one. Most certainly. Would have given a lot of opportunities towards him and some of his other teammates at certain points, but not in these circumstances. Could throw himself at it because he's got 10 grand worth of money and he could still drop weapons. Astralis could still scrape together a decent buy, but it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, superb teamwork there for Complexity. They're trying to get JT to have the super late wrap. That presence keeps getting applied, that you're making it uncomfortable for the topside anchors. Fang's even able to sort of find that impact from ramp. You've got some of the topside players really hitting out. And then from that point onwards, JT's got an easy kill. Just to get in from Heaven, deal with Zip, start putting pressure down to the single door, drop this final AK. How many kills come through? Maybe a couple? Okay, that's all important. Only one gets dropped, and Grim doesn't even go down to the bomb, so 4 alive for Complexity.
No AK for the CT side as well, so bonus weapons taken away from Astralis. Can still buy it up, as you would imagine here. Config aggressing indoors, laying up the fight towards Fang that ultimately set up that round to go the way of the Complexity side. The very confident one of that, as you mentioned. 4 players still left in by the turn of it. And guns are back for Astralis, but that strong money line, it's been whittled down.
Yeah, they're working with 2,400 loss bonus, so they should be okay for the next round, depending on how it pans out. But there is a hard reset if not a lot is gathered. Another topside play being lined up with a fake of util from JT towards the outside.
Incendiary in the hands of Glaive. Config walking forward. Utility ready on the top of the roof. Junior, you can see him in the corner of your screen right there. He's ready to put some mollies down. And counter incendiary from Glaive. Smartly called, but he's going to rush forward a bit. Blind sprays, does so much damage. Gets away with 1 kill. Fang, however, forced to trade. Config extends out towards Squeak Door. And Zipex catches Fang in center sight. So it will be 4 alive for Astralis this time as they take on Lucky 13.
You just can't imagine that that is the read that's going to be coming out for JT. Okay, we go for the topside play, and Config runs through Squeak Door. Very good adaptation on the fly there for Astralis. Not only do they capitalize on the mountain of frags that are coming out from that hut position, but then Config starts over-aggressing, and the last two players in lobby just do not expect it at all. 13 on the board from Astralis, and just when you thought Complexity had wiggle room to work with rounds in a row, the answer back is almost immediate by Astralis.
Again, the lead gets reinstated to 3 rounds for them. Meanwhile, over on that C stream, the lead for AGO is growing, and at this late stage of the game, you want to keep your eyes on that. 14-11 for AGO, a 2-0 on the table for them. If they get that and Complexity can't get this map, then that means they will have no chance of making top 3. They either need EG to find their own resurgence, or for them to bounce back right here and take Nuke. The pressure continues to mount for the Complexity side. 3 tacticals used, 1 more for the next few rounds here. The AWPs, the M4s, the AK set in. Standard rifles across both boards, and it's a quick aggression play out towards the outside from Far League. He doesn't quite land it onto JT.
JT's lucky on that one, just jump spotting, trying to toy with that AWP. And now for Far League, he finds himself in a state where it's uncomfortable to play from the back of T-Red. Needs to get some support by the util to get out of that one. Perfect flashing for Config. Floppy can't see a thing.
Dead to rights by all accounts. They back off all the same, not allowing a trade back from that roof position. JT tanking nades, Grim seeing absolutely nothing. Astralis happy to play passive.
And now even Ramp, look at what's going on with Zip. He's starting to get so aggressive. He's starting to really take the map control away, and he might capitalize on them all in lobby.
AK standing, Junior checking the ramp entrance. Wolfang check the backside, the gun barrel peeks out, the spray's good. 4-2 with Config finding JT out towards Squeaky, again pushing forward, again finding the lobby control, and again leaving Grim in a 1v5.
Dealt with one, and any more is going to be a difficult factor. Trying to get down the ladder. Zip is on the other side. There's so many players around that lobby position. And now for Complexity, surely you got to buy here. Even though Fang and Junior are down low, you can't force it towards an OT. You've got to buy it up.
And 5 rounds isn't impossible to make up, but it is difficult, and I don't disrespect this kind of call from Cole. Mac 10s on 2, AKs on 3, still plausible on the victory right here. Got to get those AKs engaged. I've got to see Floppy fragging out, top fragger for his team. Fang, one behind him. Those are the 2 players you want to see perform. And look at Floppy, straight out the gate, straight out the center of the site. Config, spray on 1, only gets 1. Glaive trades, Floppy responds. JT falls in turn to a 3v2. Low HP from Zipex, out towards lobby as Junior gets that frag. He suddenly stands alone with the bomb in the center of the site. He's got to make his way forward. He's got to clutch this.
They need one of these clutches to really come through at this exact moment. And for Astralis, they could just play off one another. You've got Far League aggressive out from ramp. Junior trying to walk through the Squeak Door. Needs to try and engage the fight onto blameF immediately.
Look at the angles Astralis are holding as well. Backed up, passive. Waiting to try bracketing Junior to a different angle. He could also make his way downstairs. They think he might be playing towards outside or back in towards ramp. But vent dive can come through from the player. If he does it silently, he can get the bomb down without contest.
As soon as he opens up one of the doors, the rotates are going to be on pretty quickly. Knowing that there's an incendiary and a smoke for the CTs to work with, they can build up that pressure quickly. Junior's got to try and get the bomb down. Really needs to fight in this 1v2.
They're both coming in from ramp. Got to isolate each individual jewel. He's trying to back up towards this decomposition, and Farlig just lands him. As soon as he peeks, as soon as he frags, just finds it to 15 now. Astralis closing in on the win. Bomb plant bonus for Cole will apply in the next round, but the money's not there. I don't think the loss bonus is either. I don't think this is a buy.
But you have to try and get as much out of it as possible. But yeah, you're not in a perfect state there for the side of Complexity. And even think back to what happened against EG when they played map 3 of Nuke in yesterday's game. 11 rounds on T side. Right here today against Astralis, 2 rounds on T side is all that's been gained by Complexity. They've found it so rough in this second half.
Map point for Astralis. Tactical timeout must be called in by Complexity. Last one that they have to utilize, stall for time, take a breather. And at least they have the full set of AKs, but no AWP for them. Everything rests on this. Tech pause to follow it up as well for a little bit extra pressure, just to let the situation simmer. Might reset the momentum of Astralis. It might be a positive entity for Complexity.
You'd have to doubt that with only 2 rounds being gained on the T side. This has been all momentum. This is all that it's been from Astralis. And keep in mind, the majority of rounds that have been won by the City side, we haven't even had bomb plants. That last round was the first bomb plant in a round loss this entire second half for the side of Complexity. And it just shows the competitive nature of this second half is not quite there like it was in the first. And for Astralis, one more to close, to send it into Ancient, this is the opportunity to do so.
And the opportunity to book their place in the top 3 as well, because I can confirm AGO have just beaten Evil Geniuses. So that's the lifeline for Complexity. If they go to a 3rd map, no matter how it ends, they cannot make it into the playoffs. They've got to do it here. They've got to take it to OT. They've got to win on Nuke. It's got to be here. It's got to be now. A 16th for Astralis just won't cut it for them.
And what hurts is they're not going to know, but we're going to know. And this is where pressure really starts building for Complexity, because all hands are on deck to really perform, to bring it into OT, to allow 5 rounds in a row. And are we going to have another playmaker? Are we going to get one of those sick rounds from Fang? Well, Grim's going to go quickly towards the outside, and Astralis again getting aggressive.
Might have to see a sick round from Fang or Floppy here. Again, both the standout elements of Complexity in this map up. Not quite the numbers that they posted in the previous one. Configs kept pace, at least. The reason why Astralis have done so well here. AK is leaning in. Floppy trying to look for that opening frag. Glade's going to give him nothing, though. The occasional shoulder peek, but not to his angle.
As soon as he gets any information, just drop the smoke, slow the round down completely. And even with blameF aggressive towards this outside position, all it's going to take is a timing, a slight information, and then he can start over-aggressing. He can start getting in behind them.
Utility thrown towards the outside, smokes at Garage. The mini cross, nice nade in from Glaive, doing damage to Fang, blind spraying towards his general position, but nothing really landing against him. JT, meanwhile, walks towards outside, and Blame just catches the dink against him and doubles up towards Fang the same. 2 kills towards outside. Grim desperately trying to hold on to a trade, but none of it comes through. And June is left alone to be the hero of Complexity, or die trying, because Astralis now only a frag away from taking this map and sending North America's hopes down the toilet. 16-10 as we go to map 3.
What a second half. That was absolute perfection from Astralis. They had the crunches, they had the lurks, they had the multi-frags, and they had the rounds. The all-important 16-10. We're going to a 3rd of Ancient.